And this is the mono blue deck. Taking a lot of inspiration from the Thieves mono blue Wan Shi Tong build, although I think he's not playing. I don't think he's playing Subtlety either. But just this like packed Lotus Field package. This has been something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Is play a consigned packed Lotus Field in like in a maybe blue or blue white shell. And I do think that Wan gives you like the extra big like card advantage source that you kind of are wanting in this kind of deck to like sink your Lotus Field mana into. And then one thing I really like about this deck is you use your cards really fast. So you like Pact Consign is 2 cards. Lotus Field, detect like these cards get out of your hand really fast. Subtlety you pitch, and so your Quantum Riddlers are drawing extra cards way more often than they have been in other decks. Also, compared to Deceive's build, the presence of Lotus Field, I think, lets you play 3 Dismembers. It's very hard to play 3 Dismembers just because of how painful they are in other decks, but Lotus Field letting you just 0 damage cast it, I think you can afford to play 3, which is kind of fun. Might start playing the 4th Lotus Field instead of just 3. I've been kind of happy with just 3 for the time being. Why the one of Mox Amber? I think it's just, we're a Tamiyo Wan Shi Tong deck. I think I'll just be happy to draw the first Amber often enough to play one. I had some Springleaf Drums in the build. Like, it's kind of a holdover from when this deck was playing Springleaf Drum and Grand, so that way we could web slinging off of Detect Intrusion more often. And I found that build had a lot of air in it and a lot less interaction that I felt that the deck needed, but I thought it was kind of a cool direction to go down. So we're gonna play one of these next. Looks like the mono blue pack deck is winning by a lot. I do think it could be fine to just let the Mardu deck rest on its trophy for now. So on the draw for new league, new us. All right, we have an awesome hand. Consign Lotus Field. Plus a turn 1 Tamiyo. And we don't get to play. I don't know if opponents not. I don't know why our opponent doesn't want to play, but they don't. Maybe we should have cut the Harbingers. I think we'll keep them in for this league, I guess. We can play Tamiyo on turn 2. I think we can keep this on the play. Yeah, I started with like more in on the web slinging and then grand plus drum, but then there ended up just not being, I think, enough interaction. Good morning, Green. Doing well. How are you doing? There's a bobble. So up against Prowess. Prowess probably a tough matchup. Playing this Tamiyo's a bit scary, very fragile here. Let's see what we draw. Yeah, let's hold up the Scolding. Although if they Steel Cutter, we have Scolding instead of Snare. It's sad, obviously. Although less likely to have Steel Cutter if they played the Bobble turn 1. Scold ya. I feel like if I Field of Ruin then play Tamiyo, the Tamiyo's gonna get bolted. Let's see what we draw. Just another Subtlety. I mean, I think we're still like incentivized to get our extra blue source, incentivized to potentially go down on cards so we can start drawing with the Riddler. I think it's okay to trade Tamiyo for Bolt also. Can potentially cut them off blue with the second Field of Ruin. It does seem like they have the Bolt with this pause. And they decide not to Bolt to trigger Prowess. The trigger Steel Cutter. We don't have a... Oh, Preordain. Interesting. Would have been awesome to be able to Subtlety and try to use the Riddler to flip Tamiyo, but obviously you can't Subtlety a Steel Cutter. They keep 1 card on top, 1 card on the bottom. They attack me for 2. Let's go ahead and block. They have Mutagenic Growth. They have Mutagenic Growth. They don't. Seems better to sack a Clue token before the Riddler, although I would like to flip the Tamiyo with Riddler by drawing a land. We don't. We just draw another Pact. Not very useful. Passing back. Could also have just Field of Ruin. I think that's also a little anemic, but if I felt like they were only playing 2 basics, then it's a lot better, but usually they're back up to 3, where it's been that way for a little bit. We can try to pitch these packs to the Subtleties, but they gotta draw non-Corey Steel Cutter threats. That's a scory steel cutter. Too bad I've got no snares. All right, I'm just gonna subtlety the channeler. Big hit coming in. That I consider Sundial the Infinite or whatever it's called that ends my turn. It's pretty bad with Pact. You want a turn. Just a card. Also a card that gets over suggested usually. All right. Another Tamiyo. Not very helpful. Probably going to be going to game 3 in a sec, or game 2 in a second. Uh, 24 lands. I feel pretty good about the number. You know, a little bit of weirdness with the Lotus Fields. Okay, so we're going to bring in the extra Scolding. So we can have 4 Scolding, 3 Snare. The explosives are a little bit weird. They mostly just can kill 1-drops. You can Lotus Field the 2-drop sometimes. I guess they can also clear the tokens. Dispute is also not the worst. I think that I'm kind of interested in not playing the Pact package here. That's not as good against decks with this low curve. So maybe do like 2 Dispute, 2 explosives. I kind of like that split. Consign still good for Lotus Field. Yeah, let's do this. Discontinuity is interesting. It is still really bad with Pact, you know. It's like you still just like don't get your draw step, which sucks, but getting the hard casted is good too. On the play for game 2 against Prowess, let's mulligan. I don't think this hand does enough. Do you think this hand is good enough? Let's go ahead and put back the Lrien Revealed over the sink, and then play Island and pass the turn. You're kidding me! Storm Chaser's Talent! Ah! You've got to be kidding. Storm Chaser's Talent against my Scolding. And now it's so obvious I have Scolding. Devastating. I don't, maybe once or twice I've seen people play Storm Chaser's Talent. It is kind of weak into the explosives I brought in, I suppose, for whatever that's worth. I think I'm going to main phase a 2/2/1 so that they can't Lava Dart me. Maybe a little anemic. We do also have the Field of Ruin in play, though, to power it up some. Second copy of Fiery Islet. Corey Steelcutter. I'll be bringing in the 3rd explosives if we end up going to game 3. Anybody have any experience playing Storm Chaser's Talent in Modern Prowess? Hit for 8 down to 10. All right, now I'm going to try to hopefully get a block off. I think it's not good as well. You know, I want to keep my heart open. I guess we want to respond with the wand so they can't flash back the dart to kill it. That being said, we might still just be dead. I like Storm Chaser's Talent when you have a way to flash it back like Repeal or Boomerang, not seeing the value in regular prowess. I think I agree. It's also just very slow, though, like the loops that you can do in Modern. Yeah, we're still dead. Okay. I think it's a tough matchup. Oof, Needle, Stony Silence, Cleansing Wildfire, Price of Freedom, Karn the Great Creator, Consigned to Memory. Surgical Extraction usually ends up being pretty good against them. Mystical Dispute ends up being good against them. It's definitely one of the decks that's like easiest, I think, to just have a ton of really, really good tools against. I mentioned Beseiju. You can play Balustrade Spy, Undercity Informer, just build their entire deck. Vexing Bauble really good against them. They're just, yeah, they're weak to a lot of sideboard cards. All right, so they're holding up a Bowmaster. We have a Scolding. Yeah, I think I want to be able to consign a Cauldron, so I don't think I want to cast the Preordain right this second. Field of Ruin. Yeah, there's Mind Funeral is 3 mana win the game against them. If they don't counter it or have a basic. 2 Bowmasters dealt with, I guess. Hello, Soren of House Markov. Welcome to dinner. So they're Golgari Necro. I think I'm looking for Lotus Field. I'm looking for Pact. Okay, should have kept the Snare, I guess. I've been really impressed how strong Wan Shi Tong has been feeling against me, has been performing for me. I think it's been a solid card that a lot of people have been really low on, honestly. I'm liking these blue shells. Figuring out the best 75 has been really tough. Have I cast Redirect Lightning to a Belcher activation? No, Belcher's been like almost just not a deck for a while. Gilligan with the 52. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, Belcher's just been really unpopular. All right, but you got one card in your hand. Let's keep the show on the road here. I don't know why Belcher had been so unpopular. It won the Pro Tour, but it also had a really low win rate at that Pro Tour, and people have been hesitant to play it because of the low win rate, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's still a playable deck. I feel like I guess I have to consign to stop Necro for a turn if even if they do find it. Yeah, we could just try to ult the Tamiyo. Am I gonna consign the Soaring Extort trigger? I guess. I think it is. It's worth 2 damage here in a spot where I'm kind of low on my life total. The difference between going to 4 and going to 2. They might target my Tamiyo. They might make a food. They do make a food, which is better against my subtlety. When I consigning the flip trigger? Oh, I should have. I totally forgot you can, is the answer. Don't play against a lot of Sorens, I guess. They got no cards in their hand. They can't top deck a Necro. They can deal 3 damage to my Tamiyo next turn, which I think would be okay. I don't want them to be able to Bowmaster, so I'm going to hold up the Scolding. All right, up a game. So Scolding counters Bowmaster and Soar. That does seem pretty nice. Maybe it's too many. I think I want to go down on the subtleties. Yeah, this seems okay. Yeah, let's try this. I feel like it's really hard to know how strong your Wan Shi Tongs are when you're playing them. Never really know how many fetches they're sandbagging. Yeah, that's true. Wan Shi Tong has definitely been like a good modern card in my opinion. It's like it competes a lot with Riddler. It's not really coming to the format, I think, at a really good time where it's like, like how long is Prowess going to be a big player? Prowess has definitely fallen out of favor before. I think Wan being really bad against Prowess is a big part of it. I'm not sure. Well, we have no blue mana. Let's not keep this hand. We've got a full house of Tamiyos and Lotus Fields. Let's go to 5. 4. Okay, so we have Consign, Lotus Field. This is our 3-card hand. I guess we just keep a wand to refill with. This hand is weak to Thoughtseize. Okay. Just an Iridescent Vine Lasher, a card that I would not have expected to see here, I suppose. Riddler is pretty bad versus Prowess unless you're scamming at turn 3. Yeah, I agree. Ouch. How is this in their deck? All right, they've got their Soaring. Okay, they have they can flip the Soaring here. What did they pitch? They pitched a Surgical and a Force of Despair. 2 insane cards. Do you think the Soaring deck is just farming Prowess players? Probably not farming, no. So another food token. So I don't want to main phase the one, otherwise they get to... Okay, now I've packed up, which is good. Will they sack a food token? They probably should. Yeah. Ouch. So I don't want... If I play the wand, they steal it. If I flash in wand in response to the fetch, they steal it. I guess they get to steal it anyway. No, I could Field of Ruin if I don't pact to shrink this to where they can't -6. Make another food. Have a Necro. Yeah, I mean I have to pack this, but now they get to steal my Sora, steal the wand. I guess if I draw a Consign, if I draw a Consign, I can Field of Ruin them and hit the Sorin low enough. Okay, nice. So let's go field them, draw a card, and get the wand big enough, and then detect intrusion the pact. And then the Sorin goes down all the way down to 4 loyalty. Oh, I guess I miscounted. I mean, we're still doing this, obviously, but I guess I didn't mean to overspend there. I don't really know how I did. Yeah, and web is web slinging for some reason. So we'll see if we get really punished for not having the Scolding. The Sorin is all the way down to 4 loyalty. They've got 2 cards in their hand. They could have another Necro. But I did miscount. We didn't actually need to Field of Ruin there, although I do think it was still correct. So are they going to bolt me with the Sorin? They do. They put me down to 6. They've got 2 cards in their hand. But we do just get to finish old Sorin off. We could also here play Tamiyo and then... Oh, I guess we can't play Tamiyo and draw 2 cards with one. We can only draw 1 card with one. Alright, I guess we'll just play the Tamiyo. We wouldn't have blew up because we sacrificed both for another side. Well, we didn't have to do that, right? We're in another Sorin. Wait, this isn't this is the first time we played against Sorin today, right? Am I misremembering? Is this the second Sorin gamer and I just somehow forgot the first? Hey Zathis, doing well. How are you doing? Alright, so I think we just get this out of the hand. Oh, the other Sorin, right. I guess I just kind of never think about... I never really think of 2 cards with the same name being the same entity at all. But I guess, you could think of them that way. Come on, Pact of Negation. All right, maybe we can pick one up next turn. 3 cards in their hand. All nonsense, I guess. Yeah, let's just pick up a Pact. We could also, have prioritized scamming another Lotus Field into play, but I think we're doing fine on our mana quantity. Don't think we're gonna die to Divine Lasher. Does Offstream copy the spell? Oh, no, it enters on a cast trigger. Okay. 2 and 1. 6 lands, Tamiyo, but 4 of the lands, I guess 5 are utility. All right, let's mulligan. I think we keep back up Tamiyo. Yeah, I do think that us seeing Soaring today is probably because of the arena champs. Okay, we're up against Belcher. Belcher should be a good matchup with our fields. 4 field, 4 main deck consigns, a lot of good tools. Dismember not bad against them either. I'm gonna snare, even though I would like to crack a clue token. Don't have too many snare targets. So I guess we'll replicate the consign to not get got. Obviously, losing consign is like a little bit of a problem, but I think we have the time. And then the extra mana is going to be really nice with all these Tamiyo clues. Untap land. Passings. Maybe they have whir. We've got a Lotus Field, which is good. Lotus Field means we don't die to Belcher, and then the Dismember means we don't die to Tamashi. Although I guess I won't be able to sack both clue tokens and flip the Tamiyo if I'm trying to play around whir into Tamashi. So let's see what we draw off the first clue token. Lrien Revealed. Yeah, I mean, I think I need to hold up the Dismember. They do have the whir. So we have Dismember for Tamashi, and they don't have enough mana to belch me. So they just play Lab and pass. Let's draw a card. Gotta be patient, I guess. Could have feel it before attacking, then if they don't worry, you get to flip. That's true. Disrupted. That's okay. Doesn't help me against just hardcast Belcher, but it does help me against like whir for Belcher here. I'm gonna tap the Lotus this time. Okay, nice. So now we'll play Tamiyo, just hold up Snare, Snare, Dismember. I guess Detect Intrusion too. Can Detect Intrusion to help me with the Pact. Can also like Pact, and then Detect Intrusion if they have like a counter back for the Pact. Ever thought about playing a Zula in a Goryo Stormshell? Yeah. I built it and then found the non-Goryos was probably better. It was a whole arc. Let's go ahead and counter this. It was very sad. Okay, force pitching sync. We'll just let that happen. My own sync. All right, let's bounce your Lotus. They force pitching Shoal. They have no cards in their hand now. Will they concede to the snare? They might. Probably would. All right, looking good so far. Let's bring in 3 copies of Mystical Dispute, and probably the Scoldings are very good, I think. It seems like if we have 4 Scolding in our deck and maybe the Subtleties, we don't need to play any Dismembers. I could believe that. It seems like we probably don't need to really worry much about Tamashi if we have this complete package. Although I guess we could easily go down to 4th Subtlety. Tamiyo is very good. I think cutting a Riddler is okay since we're not really wanting to tap out that aggressively. We could also cut a Preordain, but I think my matchup's good, so I want more consistency. Yeah, Azula Storm is just a lot worse than Ruby Storm is the painful thing about working on it. All right, nice looking hand. I guess there's some risk in getting my Consign on the Lotus Field countered. Two on top. All right, so I think because we have this Tamiyo, we can afford to wait on the Consign until we can replicate. Also, having Snare up for a trainer or archaeologist this turn seems fine. Could also just be good to like consign the Lotus Bloom because that just is going to make Tamashi so bad. But I am pretty interested in consigning my Lotus Field trigger instead so that I have enough mana to cast the Pact. Yeah, I mean, I think we should be fine to consign here. All right, so they get their Lotus down. Four cards in their hand. Do they have Consign for the ETB trigger, maybe? Okay, cool. Tezzeret, a lot of times that's their way to get around Consign in this spot, not really doing anything. What do we draw? We draw a Mystical Dispute. So I guess we're sacking Clue Token instead of Riddling. We're feeling good about drawing Dispute, I guess. Definitely interested in getting back a Consign so I can play 2 packs on the same turn and be able to replicate both of the triggers. Although that does have its risk in the counterspell matchup. We'll be mindful. Zero mana counterspells are good. At the low cost of time walking yourself. We have another pack, so I can afford to plus the Tamiyo here. If they don't draw another threat, we're just going to get the ultimate. Nice. All right, let's get a 4-1 prediction. A little bit of an asterisk since our opponent did not want to play against us round 1. They just like scooped. But our opening 7 was really good. I don't know. 4-1 prediction. Definitely a weird deck. Enjoyed working on it so far. All right, they kept 7. Let's go to 6. Keep on 6. Put back. Probably the pack, because if we draw a consign, we have another use for it already. Prowess again would be bad. Okay, not prowess. Looks like storm. Yeah, only a storm player would be so impatient as to fetch turn 1 like this. Now my hand is not very good against storm. My deck is pretty good against it though. I guess we're not gonna subtlety Ral if they play Ral because we've got Dismember. What if there's a good plan for Prowess with lesser extent Boros? Feels like susceptible to early sticky threats like Ocelot. We're pretty maxed out on Dismembers. We have a bunch of Scoldings in the main. It's gonna be tough, I think, overall. Keeps the card on top. Firebrain Scheme. They hit a Manamorphose and they hit a Ral. They're probably going to choose the Manamorphose. Can only play one of them, remember. Obviously, we would love for them to play Ral, and yay, that's great. We're going to use Dismember, although I think we're going to crack a Clue token first for mana efficiency. Wow, we are so good against Ral. Can't do a lot against most other cards in their deck. So they're going to have 5 cards in their hand after they untap. Might as well play this. Seems like with their aggressive surveils, they don't have a lot either. They do at least have a Manamorphose. All right, so they probably have a Past in Flames. They do only have a Manamorphose and a Firebrain Scheme. Maybe they have a Wish. Okay, Wish with 4 mana floating. So we'll see if they have Stormscale Scion as like an easy card to win the game with. I guess Past in Flames also probably as close to a win as possible. Okay, then they Valakut Awakening. Then they're going to Past in Flames from Exile, I guess. I don't know if it's enough to Grape Shot me, though. Lucky me. So this was their draw off the Valakut Awakening, and now they do not have enough mana to Past in Flames. Maybe we just get Empty the Warrens, though. Not really any outs to it, I guess. Oh, the Tamiyo. The Tamiyo just beats it. They do put the Ral back on top. Galvanic Relay, if they have it, would be good. Not everybody plays the Relay. I've definitely liked the Relay a lot in my Storm adventures. Okay, Grape Shot is hilarious. I don't feel like this was the right call on their part. Not too upset, obviously. Especially with them having the Ral on top, feeling pretty good about our spot. We are going to lose our 2 creatures. Yeah, I agree. The Galvanic Relay is just like, it's just very important to be able to win games. Do I have a way to draw the 3rd card? I mean, if I just draw a land, my top 2, I can. I have other cards in the deck that draw cards. I have Preordains. If I draw just a Quantum Riddler, I could evoke. But I would need to draw something, but I would have an out to the empty is all I'm saying there, right? All right, let's play the Lotus so that way we can hardcast Lrien Revealed next turn. I would expect my opponent to bottom Ral after I Subtlety. And if they keep it on top, it's also not really a big deal because they just have nothing. Yeah, they put it on the bottom this time. So now let's draw 3. They do not top deck a Past in Flames. They probably do not have a 4th Surveil land. I would be a little bit surprised if they had one. Good on the main phase fetch against the Wan Shi Tongs, though. You kind of need to fade a draw step this turn. Nice. So they will fetch in response if they're not F6. At this point, they should be on F6. We do still get to draw 2 cards with 2 Field of Ruins. Oh, they messed up. Maybe losing a little bit of hope over there. They cracked the fetch. Thanks, opponent. Yeah, this is definitely an impatient Storm player. It's just giving me the 2-turn clock. I guess I would have had it anyways. We can even pact multiple times because we have a consign. Gonna be a tough one to lose. We have Scolding for Ral. I guess we could just discard Dismember. They hit a Ruby Medallion and they hit another Reckless Impulse. I don't think I really cared much to counter the Ruby. They hit a Ral and they hit a Rin's Resolve here. I mean, this is definitely like the kind of start they need. Maybe I should be pacting this Rin's Resolve. Sorry. Yes, pacting Rin's Resolve just wins the game. I don't know what I'm thinking. I forgot that they're just at 6. Yeah, we can just pay also. All right. So up a game against Storm. Did not exactly seem like we were going to win game 1 based on the cards that were in our hand. So I think I'm going to cut all 4 subtleties, even though they were great that game. I think that a healthy diet of like Stern Scolding and Dismember can help against the Ral. 3 Scoldings may be okay. It's kind of a lot. Let's also bring in a couple disputes in addition to the Lantern. Just 3 mana leak I think is okay. Actually, let's play the third. I think just a 3rd mana leak. So someone tell me what a 3 mana leak is. That's just that effect. I think it's still like something we want here. All right, for the 4-1, feeling pretty good about our chances here. I don't love this hand on the draw against Storm. I do like having Tamiyo, but I don't like having all the tap lands, no snare, and that hand was bad too. Keeping this one, I like having the Wan for pressure. The snare is our best card of the matchup. I don't know if there's a name for that. Yeah, maybe not. I don't think there's any card that's just 3 mana counter unless they pay 3. No other text, at least. Yeah, overwhelming denial. Something like that. All right, they hit a Desperate Ritual. They hit a Wooded Foothills. Probably going to play the Wooded Foothills now. Yep. Then they Surveil main phase. What's the thing with Dismember over Subtlety Ral? Dismember deals the Ral permanently for 1 card, as opposed to Subtlety, which is 2 cards to temporarily deal with it. In fact, it's kind of easy for them to just draw and replay the Ral all at once. Let me actually snare so I can consign my Lotus Field. I think maybe that's a little bit risky, but I do like to have a Lotus Field in play. Not very likely to get to dispute anything. Imagine random Teferi here that just gets disputed. Also resolved Ral, you can, draw into it at least. Okay, that's a good draw. Calculated dismissal. Yeah. Basically. Yeah, let's go ahead and 3 minute. Okay, I was gonna dispute that. I guess it's gonna be okay. Can dispute the next thing if I intrusion this. Hello, next thing. I feel like keeping dispute over second consign was questionable. Oh, so I keep hitting yield to all. Maybe. So they can't quite flash it back with what we know, at least. They've got 3 cards in their hand. What could they be thinking about? I mean, I guess just flipping around with something. But like any card draw spell they would easily just play here. No thoughts. Any ritual they would have played already. So I guess I don't know what, like, a ritual could have paid for a dispute. So I what could they be thinking about? Do they have like Ruby plus artist talent? I guess that's something. Ooh, wish. Wish makes a lot of sense, yeah. Just wish, do I win the coin flip? Although I think they're 1 short of ulting the Ral if they win the coin flip, but then they can just plus an ult next turn. I feel like this isn't What Are My Outs pause. I mean, with the Past and Flames in the graveyard, most stuff isn't out. They've disconnected. Wouldn't make a lot of sense for this to be a rage quit. Yeah, just lag. Do Storm players not play Gutshot on the sideboard? They do play Gutshot. Gutshot wouldn't really do anything here, if that's what you're asking. Like, Wish costs 2 mana, and so they couldn't... If they're going to Wish in this spot, they're not going to do anything with it. They're just trying to win the flip to flip their Row. Cast Gutshot? Well, they couldn't cast it off Wish, if that's what you're saying. Because remember, Wish costs 3 mana, reduced down to 2. They don't have enough mana if all they have is a Wish. I may be missing something. Also, Gutshot would deal me like 7 or 8 damage, and I would go to like 12 or 13, right? I can't even do exclamation card on Rao because it's got like 500 words on it. Is Rao like the longest worded card in Magic? It might be the longest. Oh, Gutshot. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Grape Shot. Okay. They do not play Gutshot, no. Sorry. I thought you were talking about Grape Shot. Rao might be the longest worded card in Modern. It's not even close. What's a longer Modern legal card than Rao? And how is it not close? Look at all these words. It's probably not a Scryfall function. Search by word length. Am I counting both sides? I am counting both sides, yeah, of course. Basic full text land. Don't know if those count. Nicol Bolas Ravager. This should have more than Nicol Bolas the Ravager. I think even the backside has more than Nicol Bolas the Ravager. Yeah, the mini game cards for the packs, I don't think they exactly count. Alexander Hamilton. Whenever you cast a wordy spell, scry 2, choose target creature you don't control, reveal the top card of your library. It gets plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is the number of lines of rules text on the reveal card. Shieldred? Ooh, maybe Shieldred. Yeah, one of the transforming sagas makes sense. My opponent has restarted Magic Online again. It does seem like they're having some trouble. It's been about 5 minutes since they've taken a game action, so I think we have about 5 more minutes. Invasion of Alar has 117. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to count this. 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, what happened? Hallowed Moonlight is in the deck? Okay, they ultimate the Rao. And then they reckless. Oh, I guess they drew that off the Hallowed Moonlight. They hit 2 Sacred Foundries. What can I do against an ulted Rao here? I think I will cast the Preordain. Okay. I guess I'll main phase this X equals 1 to try to draw Soul Guide Lantern. Yeah, Sync would have been good. It's true. Ruby first is weird. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Okay, they hit a Firebrain Scheme and a Ren's Resolve, Keck W. Oh, they also hit another Rao. No, they did. This is off the Rao. They can't play it. It's weird that it says can be cast till end of turn. But I believe this was off Rao. It doesn't actually count. Okay, there's a Pyretic Ritual. Which I think I should be pacting. Although maybe I just want to be pacting the Flashback Past in Flames. Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. That's definitely what they're building up to. So there's the scheme. Just hits 2 lands. I guess I think I have Blink stuff in my deck. ECQ, the 3 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, so we pay for Pact. I've been liking the packs a lot. It's just, I don't know. It's really activating my neurons at the very least. There was a chatter who described Pact as 2 cards for a 2-mana counterspell, but it's really, getting the counterspell for 0 mana is just such a big deal. All right, punish for not cycling the Lrien Revealed. Wait, there's another Pact in the yard? Or Past in Flames in the yard? Literally, when did this get in the yard? Wait. Oh, they just cast one from the hand is what happened. Okay, we're dead. Game 3. I didn't realize they cast it from hand. That makes more sense. So maybe we were supposed to pack the ritual instead there, although it wouldn't really have changed the thing. Yeah, we can keep this on the play. It's a little bit risky if we don't draw the land. Like, do we preordain into land number 2, or do we just kind of hold up Snare slash Scolding? Pact and Consign is build your own flare to now. Yeah, but you don't have to have a creature in play, and you can one Consign can do 2 packs, and then you also can Consign to ramp yourself with Lotus Field into just fair Pact. Y'all casting the Preordain here? I think we're casting the Preordain. Listen, if I don't draw mana, we're not going to win anyways. I will keep the second Snare. Snare's just that good against them to miss. I'm okay missing a land drop for Snare in my hand. They crack a fetch land. Do we play the Wan? Y'all playing Wan here? I think it's okay. They're not very likely to combo off. Getting the pressure in play is really nice, I think. They're a very fetch land heavy build. It feels like they're trying to main phase surveil anyways. Too greedy. It's definitely a little greedy. We also have outs to draw, like Consign for the pack too, although just 1 out. Gotta let me get greedy every once in a while, I guess. Okay, they discard a land, they flip over a Ral, and they flip up a Desperate Ritual. We will not be playing the Lotus Field this turn. They can only play one of these two. Wait, they level the Artist Talent? No shot, they just said, I'm not going to play at my Ral this turn. That's crazy. I guess their hand is just that good, huh? Splice a Desperate Ritual. Let's go ahead and snare that, I think. Need to draw Consign, kind of bad. We do have the YOLO. I can draw 3 cards before my upkeep for these packs. Looking for consigns if we're really desperate. Their hand is Desperate Ritual, 4 mystery cards. I think you're right on Ral. 762 characters, Oracle text. Number 2, Urza, Lord Protector, 703. Nice. Feels good to be right. Okay, let's crack this clue token. Another Tamiyo. Are there non-arcane splice cards? I don't think so. They have 3 mana floating, 3 cards in the hand. They play a Ruby Medallion for 1 mana because of the Artist Talent. 2 mana floating. They get another Rummage. They discard Orim's Chant. Then they play an Elegant Parlor. 1 card left. They either Consign and Pact are basically forcible. I don't say it's exactly that reductive, but close enough. Okay, they've won, so they're just gonna Grape Shot my board, which is okay with me. The other thing is, like with Lotus Field, you can just pay for Pact a lot more easily than you can in other builds. And then like Pact is good with Quantum Riddler too. Discard Enchant is bad for us. It's not. They just don't have cards in their hand. It's really whatever. They're just gonna. I guess they could Galvanic Relay, but it does not seem like they have Galvanic Relay in their deck based on game 1. They Fire Magic. This doesn't even kill. This doesn't even kill the Tamiyo. I guess they just boarded in the other Grape Shot maybe. I am very interested in flipping Tamiyo here. Yeah, let's actually save the consign for multiple pack triggers potentially. Could pack 3 times this turn, although the problem is they only have 1 card in their hand, so I guess that's not very likely. Ult the Artist Talent. Feeling pretty good in the spot. Feeling pretty good. Resolves. You get your rummage. They keep their card. Cycles Hallowed Moonlight. Sure. A very odd card to have in still. I feel like they should have cast that first and rummaged away the looting. Let's go ahead and counter the Detect Intrusion. The only way we lose is if we start letting, I think, these little draw twos resolve, right? So I'm going to end up just playing a big Wan end of turn here. Any consideration for Commandeer? I think you can play Commandeer over the Harbingers. I don't think the Harbingers really are as helpful against the Tron as I thought, and I think Commandeer against K-Command and Karn and Ugin's all really nice against them. The best 3 Pact of Negations are the ones you never had to cast. How did Grand Grab perform? She was good in the ally deck, but the ally deck didn't perform that well. I think she has a little bit of an upgrade and in an archetype that's still not quite where we want it to be. Yeah, I think we're gonna get this one. My opponent has not conceded yet. Kind of just a game action simulator for me right now. We might get to cast our Pact of Negations after all. I could also just pay, I guess. Well, so my opponent's dead on board, they're not conceding. I could have a little fun, right? Okay, so those are 4-1 this league. So the leagues went pretty well today. 4-1 with Mono Blue, Lotus Pact, Wan Shi Tong control. A very weird take on the build Naseeb's been playing. And then we also 5-0'd with the Mardu Burn and Texas, so pretty dang cool. I might come back in to play a different version of this. I think it's very fun and very fresh. That being said, tomorrow I am going. I have a Buried Alive Cauldron deck we might play, but I think I'm gonna work on May in either Black Red